Hello and welcome back to the Primal Attraction podcast. I'm your host, Mela Marlity, and today I'm going to be talking about fear, how it's affected my life so far, how I'm trying to break free from fear at the moment, and what I'm trying to find on the other side of fear. So I would say that fear has been a ruling element in my life so far. Fear has kind of been at the centre of a lot of my decisions, and they've impacted me negatively. For me, fear has been something that has been spurred on by my perfectionism for everything to be perfect. As I've grown older, I've come to realise that it's okay to fuck up and it's okay to fail, as hard as that seems. Something that I've been told time and time again is that everyone was a beginner at something or another at some point in their life, and had they not been a beginner, then they wouldn't even be at the point that they are now if they're like mega amazing at it. So I remind myself of that on a daily basis when I look at pictures of who I used to be, when I look at some podcasters' first podcasts and I listen to those and I think, okay, I can see what you've changed and how you've got to where you are, whether that's a dancer, whether that's an artist, like anyone. At some point or another, you did something shitty, you drew something shitty, like it's fine. It's all a part of the process. And I think that that's what I'm trying to document in the mediums I'm using at the moment, which is the podcast and as of late, social media. Because I'm creating content. But the realization that it doesn't matter if it's perfect or polished or prim or whatever, just get it out, because it's better out than in. You know, like if I don't post it, it never existed. I never got the experience. I never got the practice. I never got the reps in. Like even right now, I'm recording this podcast. I've recorded every single podcast in a video format that I've done so far. I just haven't been happy with the way that it looks, the lighting, the angle, whatever. The way that I look or I don't look at the camera but anyway, the long story short is none of it matters. If I don't post it, it didn't exist. I didn't really benefit myself or the podcast from not posting any video content alongside it, because at the end of the day, it just means that there's one less way that people are going to find out about your work or see it. And I'm now in a point of, actually, I couldn't give two shits if it is amazing or it isn't amazing at the moment. Like, that's not where my priorities lie. It might lie there in the future when I have more control or skill around it to do something better. But right now, to even think about getting to a point where I have that skill, I have to go through these reps and, if needs be, feel embarrassed and shy about it. But that's all good. In my youth, fear really stopped me from bettering myself. I think I didn't see myself represented often. I didn't see, the fat kid that does the cool shit. The fat kid was always the butt of the jokes. And I really played into that. And instead of seeing a future where I could be amazing or change my life, it didn't seem like a thing for me. Like, I hadn't been educated on diet. I hadn't been educated on health and exercise. And even when I could, like, there was always this kind of, but I don't know if that makes sense, but that really instilled this feeling of I don't belong. So I already put extra barriers in front of something that already seemed extra hard to me, when actually, when I got to it, it wasn't. All I had to do was walk through a door and just try. That was it. And the hardest thing about all of those things wasn't necessarily the action or the thing that you had to do. It was the judgment of others. It was the perception of myself from others, which is something that I spoke about when it comes to addiction and me using substance as a way of letting go in a controlled way, because I have this overwhelming need to control how other people view me, in whatever capacity that is, because I can't control how people look at me and how they perceive my face and my body. And I really had walls up around that for the longest time. I still really struggle with my appearance, and I'm doing my best to build confidence in that, and I've come a real long way from where I once was. So I don't want to say that the journey ever ends when it comes to loving yourself or being comfortable in your own skin. I think that as humans, it's our nature to always strive for better and want for more. So I know that even if I'm lucky enough one day to be in a position where I have a six-pack or abs or I don't know, or whatever, I think that there's always going to be part of me that's like, oh, I wish I had that striation there, or like, I wish I had this. It's always going to happen, but being able to be content and happy within the skin that you're in the present, regardless of what your future might look like, fingers crossed it's for the better, because health is wealth. I think, I just think it's really important, because if we aren't content in who we are now, then whatever actions we take to remedy that are going to be from a place of spite and hate. And whilst that might work for some people and it can be sustainable, I don't think that it's ever been sustainable for me. When I really beat myself up and I put myself down, it just makes me really miserable. It makes me despise exercise, because I view it as a form of punishment as opposed to something of fulfillment, which will take me into a better place and a better position. So I really hold a lot of weight in whatever you choose to do it from a place of love, because when you do it from a place of hate, it just doesn't hit the same. When you hit the targets, it's not like this celebratory thing either at times. I mean, it can be, it depends from person to person, but it's just a much more enjoyable process when you do it because you want to be better, because you love yourself that much. When you wake up day in, day out, and you make yourself do something that's really difficult and really hard from a place of strong discipline and good motivation, because you hold so much respect for yourself and so much value for who you are that you expect better for yourself. It's almost as if you're your own manager and you're constantly doing your own appraisal, and it's like, you're doing really great here, but here's where you can improve. And you respect your manager so much that you actually go and do that thing. So doing things out of self-respect and love is just a game changer for me anyway. I look at a lot of the situations where I've been in a position and I've realised that the truth of why I'm stuck there or what's going wrong, and I found that on the other side of the fear is usually the thing that I want. Like, the fear is the barrier. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen Dora the Explorer, but you know how the best way that I would put fear in a way that my mind can understand is, you know, when they're doing like one of those little missions and then the little fox thing comes along and it's like, swipey, or whatever it is. I feel like the fox is your fear. Like, you're there and you're like, right, I need to get to the other side of this, because at the end of the goal, like the end goal is to get to the end of the map. But this fucking fox or fear keeps getting in the way, and you have to fight it, because every time you fight it, you get one step closer to where you want to go. So on the other side of the fox is something so much better, but you've just got to say, I hear the fear, I hear what you're trying to say, I hear what you're trying to talk me out of doing. I understand it. It makes complete sense, because fear does make sense. It's a fight or flight response. It's something that's programmed within us to stop us from dying at the core of it. And seeing as we're no longer hunter-gatherers and like saber-tooth tigers and shit aren't the predator anymore, other things seem so much scarier to us, and it's a lot of mental warfare, and it's us overthinking or anxious and stuff like that. If we can hear the fear and allow it to pass and then get through it and still do the thing that we wanted to do, imagine the places that we could go as individuals in a collective. Like, imagine the things that we can achieve just because we're choosing to not listen to a made up voice in our head. Like, for me, in something that I'm really trying to battle at the moment, I'm scared to take off my jumper in the fucking gym. Even though it's boiling and I'm sweating, I'm scared of even one soul seeing one of my fat rolls. Do you know what I mean? That's if I deep it, that is a thought. That's pretty fucking embarrassing. That's pretty fucking sad. Mel, you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable position. You're actually hindering your workout because you're feeling flustered and uncomfortable. For who? For who? If someone sees one of your fat rolls, what are they going to do about it? They're going to fucking take a picture of it and put it in your local newspaper? No, they're going to forget. You're literally a moment in the day, if they even realise that you're in the same space as them. It's just you in your head. You are your worst critic. You've got to listen to the critiques, obviously, because those critiques are also going to explain to you where you need to. It's going to trigger the thing that's causing you the pain, and then it's going to highlight what you need to change in order to be in a position where you're not feeling that fear. But that's not to say that the fear won't be replaced by something else. It's always going to replace. I mean, that's how we evolve as individuals. But yeah, that's I think what's coming to mind at the moment when I think about fear. So thank you for listening to my mini episode. I hope that everyone's excited for the new year and what 2025 can bring. I have a feeling that 2025 is going to be really good to me, and I'm going to get the most out of it. I'm going to work really fucking hard. I've already made my vision board and I've sent it off to the printers, so I'm looking forward to putting that up on my wall for me to remind myself of what I'm trying to achieve for the next year. I think that it's really important to acknowledge what you want and have it as a reminder in your day-to-day, just so that it's also this really cool thing that you can then look back in and be like, okay, I've done X, Y, Z. I haven't done X, Y, Z, or hopefully you've done them all, and then you can archive it and look back as years go by and you've got more and more vision boards. But anyway, all in all, I hope you've had an amazing Christmas or festive period, and I hope you have a wonderful new year, and I'll catch you in the new year. Bye.